Hey, what's up, my fellow gym rats? Today, I just wanted to discuss diet and just tell you a little bit about myself, about my fitness journey and, just a little bit about my diet philosophy and all that kind of stuff. When it comes to diet, you know, I'm sure you guys probably heard this saying before, but it's actual truth. Diet is 80% of the battle. You could have the best training program out there, and if your diet sucks, you're not going to get the results that you want to get. You know what I mean? So when it comes to diet, I keep my diet simple. I get 1 gram per pound of protein per body, amount of body weight that I am. Right now I weigh 100 and it's kind of up and down my weight right now. I'm kind of doing a recomp. It's called a recomposition. Basically, what I'm doing is trying to maintain my weight gain while losing body fat at the same time, and pretty much it's kind of a slow gradual thing that happens slowly. Some people cut a bunch of weight to lose body fat, but I try to just keep my body weight pretty much about around the same. I before I started my fitness journey this time around, I was about 188, and I'm a short guy. I'm about 5'5", and I weigh I weighed 188 pounds, and I was out of shape for sure at that weight. Right now I'm weighing about between, it depends in the morning. I weigh myself on the scale at an empty stomach, usually about 72 or something like that, and then I go up, when I weigh myself when I've had 2 meals at the gym, about 176. So you know, uh, as you can see, I have some decent muscle. I don't know, like if you guys see me in my tank top, you can tell that I work out. I'm pretty. I guess I would consider myself a little bit jacked. I guess I have big shoulders. And the thing that's hard for me is I'm gonna soon to be 50, and on May 3rd, which is like literally less than 2 weeks right now. So I'm almost 50 years old. I don't have the metabolism like I did when I was 20. I don't have any TRT or anything like that. I just have everything I'm doing right now is natural. It doesn't mean down the line that I might not, I might consider TRT depending on, I have my levels checked and everything like that. I'm sure they're not at subpar, I guess you would say, because I'm almost 50 years old. So, but right now, I'm just doing it naturally, and like there's some controversy about TRT and all these different things, about people saying talking crap about it, and I don't do that. But at the same time, if I start TRT, I'll let you guys know, to be transparent with you guys, because there's a lot of fitness influencers out there that are not very transparent about this kind of thing. They think that, and what it happens is people get body dysmorphia because of it. They talk about, oh, you're just lazy that you can't achieve this physique that I have or whatever, but they're not telling their clients that they're taking some type of PED. They're taking TRT, or they're taking, and most of them aren't just doing TRT. They're doing a bunch of compounds with it. You know what I mean? Like they're doing SARMs, they're doing something. So it's all about, for me, it's all about transparency. And, when I had a previous channel, I was very transparent in that channel. This channel is about fitness, and right now I'm in the road of being a holistic nutritionist right now, and I like holistic things, and I geek out on that kind of stuff, and I'm all about longevity. I'm almost 50 years old, and I've had injuries over the years. I've worked out since I was 16, and I've had some injuries, like shoulder injuries. My knees have always been pretty good, no knee problems. Lower back issues a little bit. I had a bulging disc in my neck. And I did, and what I did with all these injuries that I had, I went into, like, I rehabbed them, and did it that way instead of getting surgeries or anything like that. And you know but like back to the diet thing, I keep my diet pretty simple as far as carbs go and all that kind of stuff. I My philosophy right now, what I'm doing now, is I'm having carbs before my workout and after my workout. In the morning, I'll just eat some protein, and because I'm not using the carbs straight when I work out or when I wake up, excuse me. But I'll have, and then my pre workout, I'll have like some carbs and some protein. But the first meal of the day, the breakfast is usually just protein by itself. And I don't do 4 to 6 meals a day type crap. I don't do that. Like people saying you got to eat every 3 hours and 4 to 6 meals a day. I don't do that. I do. I make sure I get my protein in. Don't get me wrong. I try to get 1 gram per pound of body weight of protein. I might do 4 meals. If I want to throw a shake in there, and do 4 meals. But right now, I'm just kind of just doing just 3 meals right now, and trying to. I don't eat after 5 o'clock because I figure my philosophy is this: if am I going to use those carbs after like a certain amount, I'm going to be sitting. Usually, I'm going to be pretty sedentary, after a certain time. So I don't need any carbs or any fuel really. So the only thing I would do if I got hungry would be some type of protein. If I absolutely could not uh, control my hunger, that's what I would do. But my metabolism is a little bit stubborn right now. It's really hard for me to. I'm having troubles, losing body fat compared to how it was when I was younger. So I have to be stricter on my diet. I've done keto before, but I was in the best shape of my life. I did the ketogenic diet in 2019. I think I was 43 years old and got pretty shredded doing that. But I don't know, like if I want to do a different approach this time and just try to do carbs. I just feel like I have more energy. I don't feel like sick and feel terrible. When I was doing that diet, I felt terrible. I didn't have a lot of energy, but I looked good, but I just didn't feel good. So, right now, and I do a lot of like fermented foods too for the gut bacteria. I do that too. I add that in my meals and stuff like that. I eat whole eggs. A lot of people say, "Oh, just eat the whites." No, I eat the whole eggs for the fats in it. And like I said, one gram per pound of protein, 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight I eat every day. So I try to do that. And right now, my journey is kind of like, I've been working out since I was 16, but I had a long layoff of working out, probably like a year and a half, and I'll get into it later why I had that layoff and everything like that. But you know, that was the longest layoff I've ever had since I've been working out since I was 16. The longest layoff I've had from the gym. So luckily I have muscle memory. Um, so I'm able to gain that muscle back, what I mean? So as far as diet goes, I just keep my diet pretty simple. I just eat proteins and there's no I don't eat pork too much. That's probably one protein item I don't really eat too much. I eat whole eggs for sure, chicken, um, fish. I'm not a big fish person. I'll eat some tuna and stuff like that. But usually I pretty much like lately I've just been eating the same thing. Just chicken and eggs and for protein, some jasmine rice, or some oatmeal, or have a protein shake, with some oatmeal in it mixed with together. So I keep my diet pretty simple. I make sure I get enough fats in my diet. Fats are good for you. Don't do low fat because it will literally crash your hormones. Your testosterone will go down. And people that take this is another thing too. People that take PEDs and testosterone and stuff like that, they can get away with that low fat stuff because their 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 levels are already elevated. So their testosterone is already elevated. But people that are natural, you don't want to do low fat diet. Um, so that's pretty much my diet thing. Like I said, diet is 80% of the battle. Like I said, I could have the best workout program, but if my diet sucks, I'm not going to get the results. So right now, soon, I want to do one of those DEXA scans and figure out where my body fat is. I'm kind of scared to do it because I'm older now and I'm not like I was when I was 20, but I have a decent physique for a guy that's almost 50 years old. I try not to compare myself to other people. I just try to be the best version of myself, and I'm getting results. I see it in the gym. I'm in the gym day in and day out, and I'm seeing the results. I do cardio too. I do more cardio than I did when I was younger. I do cardio 5 days a week. You know, and how I've been doing my cardio is I've been doing it slowly, just adding 5 minutes every time I do cardio. So my next cardio session next week is going to be 30 minutes. I slowly added cardio slowly to my routine to see what happens. So and I do 5 cardio sessions a week. 5 cardio sessions. So next week it's going to be 5 sessions of 30 minutes. A week and everything, and I work out 5 days a week. Um, but as far as diet goes, I make sure that I eat. I used to skip breakfast and fast till noon, but I stopped doing that, and I noticed I was getting better results by doing that. So, and my first meal of the day is I'll have eggs. That's my first meal of the day by itself. Just have eggs, and I'll put some fermented food, some sauerkraut in there, and mix it together. Um, doesn't sound very tasty, but I do it for the probiotic factor of it. You know what I mean? Because I want my gut to be healthy. So it's like a second brain, our gut. It has a lot of functions in the body. So I'm gonna end this video. We're getting at 11 minutes here, but this is like my second full video that I've done. This is a new page, so I hope everybody has a blessed weekend. It's Friday today, so I take the weekends off from the gym. So it's all about rest and recovery. Have a blessed night.